We are proud to have you back, race fans, here at the Old Yadkin Valley Speedway, home to the Funkhouser Diecast Racing League, as it is time for us to bring you more exciting racing action from the Midnight Club Tournament, sponsored by Merch by Meekin, and it's time for us to finish the second half of Round 2. Team Tuner dominated the first half of Round 1 as they claimed 3 of the first 4 available spots into the semifinal round.
Our close question is, will Team Muscle be able to strike back and even the odds, or will it be Team Tuner just dominating the rest of this tournament? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out.
Absolutely, Ricky. Just like you said, there's only one way to find out, and that's to move on to the racing action. So enough talking from us. Let's get down to these driver introductions for Round 2, Group 3. Starting us off representing Team Tuner, he had a total of 2 wins and 18 points in Round 1, driving his 1990 Acura NSX. For Puffs Racing, it's Puff! Up next, representing Team Muscle, he had a total of 2 wins and 13 points in Round 1 in his 2019 Ford Mustang. For G-Force Racing, it's Giorgio. Up next, he came in second place in Round 1 with a total of 14 points and 2 wins, driving his 2001 Acura Integra GSR. For Miniature Car Racing, it's Bolo Brown. And finally, finishing up Round 1 with a total of 13 points and 1 win, driving his 1963 Chevy Corvette Stingray. For Variant Skunkworks, it's Mr. Variant.
Well, I see you finally got his name right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ricky, but aren't you the one in charge of the roster, graphics, and scorecards?
I cannot confirm nor deny that information.
Yeah, except you're the quickest to confirm when somebody else screws up.
That's okay, Funk. I know you can't be perfect like me.
Anyways, race 1 is underway. As we go down the backstretch for the first time, Puff has a nice lead over Giorgio as he has leading that Mustang. But here comes Giorgio making a great pass down in the turn 2. Variant is now taking a second place spot. Oh, they're colliding in turn 3. Oh, trouble in the tire barrier. Giorgio's turning around backwards down the super stretch. As they come down to the final stretch, it's going to be Giorgio taking race 1, followed by Variant.
Woo! Once again, more chaos in race 1.
Team Muscle strikes first as they take the first and second place spot, as it looks like we have trouble down at the exit of turn 3, as there you see Puff and Bolo Brown both stuck at the exit of the turn as they both have collided as emergency crews are pulling them apart.
Now, of course, we have to go back and see exactly what just happened as we check out the first Merch by Meekin replay camera of the night.
Giorgio has a commanding lead, but the action is taking place behind him as there you see Variant and Puff get together as they head down in the turn 3. Variant trying his best to hang on to that position as Puff is trying to get him around him.
Meanwhile, Giorgio must be watching what's going on in his rearview mirror as he gets spun around. As we go back to the turn 3 camera, we watch what everybody wants to see. There's the tires exploding as Mr. Variant hits the inside tire barrier, and there you see Puff and Bolo Brown get stuck together.
Let's go back and watch that one more time as here you see Variant trying his best to hang on to it, but he gets slammed right into the tire barrier, but that causes Puff and Bolo Brown to get tangled up behind him as they both collide and have nowhere to go. Then you see Variant just moves on as he's able to hang on to that second place spot as Team Muscle takes spots 1 and 2.
Now let's update the first leaderboard of the night as there you see Giorgio sitting at the top with 5 points. Fall behind him is Mr. Variant with 4. And would you look at that? Team Tuner has Deuce Goose Eggs as they have their Double DNF.
Well, with 3 races left to go, anything can happen, but look at the top of the board as it's Ford versus Chevy as race 2 is underway.
It's a classic bow tie versus blue oval as they head down to turn 1.
Giorgio and that Mustang is once again dominating as they battle for second place is what's going on behind him. As there you see Mr. Variant has cleared for a second place spot as they go down the turn 3. Giorgio has just pulled away as he's going to come around and he's going to dominate race 2.
Whoa, well, would you look at that? Puff was able to pull a move around Mr. Variant as he takes a second place spot.
Variant takes a third place spot as Bolo Brown comes in fourth as we check out that track time of 17.043 seconds put down by Giorgio. As we go back and watch the replay, there you see Giorgio with a commanding lead. It looks like Mr. Variant had a little trouble going in the turn 2 as he loses momentum. Puff is now starting to catch up to him as once again Giorgio is pulling away.
As we go in the treacherous turn 3, there you see once again Variant and Puff colliding as they fight for that second place spot. As they go down the super stretch, there you see Variant moving to the outside as Puff moves along inside as he gets a clean pass down in the turn 4.
And as that's going on, Giorgio has nothing but clean air in front of him as he's able to secure his second win of the night. Just behind him, there you see Puff blocking any advances by Mr. Variant as he secures the second place finish.
And unfortunately for Bolo Brown, he's trying his best, but he's going to have to settle that fourth place spot.
And as we update the leaderboard, there you see Giorgio sitting on top of the board with 10 points, followed by Mr. Variant still in second place with 7 points. Puff moves up to that third place spot with 4, and Bolo Brown sitting down there at the bottom of the pack with 2.
And this is exactly what I want to see. Team Muscle flexing it as we go into race 3.
Off the starting grid and down the backstretch, it's Mr. Variant leading him as they go down to turn 1.
It's now Ford versus Acura for that second place spot, as there you see Bolo Brown trying his best to keep up with Giorgio.
Giorgio gave Variant a huge push down in the turn 2. Variant turns sideways. He gets slammed by Giorgio. He then gets slammed by Bolo Brown. Here they come down to the line. Variant hangs on to that win, going in backwards as it's too close to tell who came in second place.
How about that driving by Mr. Variant, almost completely losing it down the super stretch. Then he's able to regain control, driving backwards, and hang on to that first place finish.
I don't know how much control there was in there, but as we watch the replay camera, here you see him hitting the outside retaining wall as he comes out of turn 3. He then gets turned sideways and then slammed by Giorgio as he gets pushed down the super stretch. As he goes in the turn 4, he gets slammed by Bolo Brown. He's now got momentum carrying himself backwards as he's trying to drive out of his rearview mirror. He finally regains control as they come down to the line, but the question is who came in second place?
Talk about you too close to call. We're gonna have to go to the overhead camera and see exactly how close it was.
Watching them coming out of turn 4, Giorgio and Bolo Brown are door to door as they head down the final stretch. Giorgio starts to pull ahead, but there you see Variant pulls right in front of him as he bits a block, and it looks like Bolo Brown was just able to eke it out for that second place finish right there at the line.
It looks like Variant was trying to cost Giorgio some points just to get himself closer to the top of the leaderboard.
Well, speaking of the leaderboard, there you see Giorgio sitting at the top with 13 points with Mr. Variant just behind him with 12. Unfortunately for Puff and Bolo Brown, it's going to be a mathematical impossibility for them to move on, so it looks like they're going to be racing for bragging rights here in race 4.
Talk about team muscle domination!
And as they go down the backstretch one final time, it's Acura versus Acura as there you see Bolo Brown with a lead over Puff, but Puff gets a huge shove from Giorgio as he takes lead down the turn 2 through the chicane.
Giorgio's all over Puff's bumper as they go down to turn 3, matching his every move down the super stretch.
If Giorgio's going to make the move, now's the time, but it looks like Puff's going to be able to hang on to it, and he's going to finally take his first win.
I'll say that win may be too little too late, but what a way to go out in style.
I'll second that, Ricky, as there you see that track time put down by Puff of 17.113 seconds. As we watch the Merch by Meek and replay camera, here you see Giorgio giving Puff one heck of a shove down through the chicane. As they head down the turn 3, Puff is doing everything he can to hold off Giorgio. Giorgio is right there on his bumper, matching his every move, drafting him as they go down the super stretch. There you see Variant losing control of his car as they go down the backstretch as Giorgio tries one more time to make the pass, but Puff puts a block on him as he's going to hang on to that first place finish.
Now let's talk about this leaderboard for round 2, group 3.
Finishing us off in the 4th place spot, it's going to be Bolo Brown. In that 3rd place spot, it's going to be Puff. And now your two drivers moving on to the semi-final round with 14 points. It's going to be Mr. Variant, and your winner of this event with a total of 17 points, it's Giorgio. We'll be back with some more racing action in just a minute, folks.
The following presentation has been brought to you by the Cousin Ricky Order.
That's right, Cousin Ricky fans. Ask and you shall receive, as the Cousin Ricky Order has taken over the Funkhouser Diecast Racing League once again for some more halftime action.
Bubba Joe also in the booth as we are proud to bring you the next installment of the YouTube Rivals Showdown.
And just in time for the Super Bowl, we have the two best YouTube commentators representing the Grossi Perna Show for That's Good Sports and the Packcast with Tom Grossi.
Oh, here comes Funk walking in the door, so we'll pass it off to him for the driver introduction.
Wait, do what? Representing Grossi Posse Racing, he's driving a 1967 Ford Mustang GT500 for the Packcast with Tom Grossi. It's Tom Grossi. Switching up gears, driving for That's Good Racing, he's driving a 1963 Volkswagen Transporter bus for That's Good Sports. It's Brandon Perna. What in the heck, Ricky? What have you gotten us into this time?
Lighten up, Funk. This is going to be some of the best racing action you've seen tonight, as it's time for race 1 of the YouTube Rivals Showdown.
Out the gate they go for the first time down to the backstretch, and they are neck and neck going down in the turn 1.
Brandon Perna with the lead as they go down the turn 1. Through the S-turns, Tom Grossi takes lead as they head down the turn 2.
Listen to the engine of that Volkswagen bus. It sounds like it has a Porsche motor in it.
Perna gets a little loose in 3 as Grossi is leading him down the super stretch. He starts bouncing over the track. Brandon Perna with a huge pass in turn 4 as he's going to take race 1.
A huge shocker in race 1 as that GT500 just got upset by that Volkswagen bus. Let's watch the replays. You watch them go down in the turn 3. Brandon Perna loses control of it just going into 3, but he's able to correct it.
Grossi must have been watching that out of his rearview mirror and not paying attention to what's in front of him as you see him going and striking the inside wall down the super stretch. Perna taking advantage of this. He gains on him and makes a clean pass underneath going down in the turn 4. At this point, Grossi has to try to catch back up, but it's too late as Brandon Perna is going to go across the line and he's going to take race 1.
Talk about your ultimate upset in race 1. I don't think anybody could have seen that Volkswagen bus having that much power taking out a Ford GT500, but we still have 4 races left to go to determine who's going to be the winner of this event.
Right you are, Ricky, and they are lined back up, and it's time for race 2.
Off they go and down the backstretch into turn 1. And take a look at that GT500. It has just taken off and leaving that poor Volkswagen bus behind.
Grossi has his foot to the floor this time as he is not letting off, but Brandon Perna is trying his best to stay up there with him as they go down the super stretch. Here comes Perna one more time as he's starting to gain down in the turn 4. Here they come down to the line. It's going to be close, but Grossi hangs on to it for his first victory in race 2.
Woo, that's what I'm talking about. Some amazing racing, but another win for Team Muscle.
So far, that's one win apiece for That's Good Sports and the Diecast for this unsanctioned event.
Bubba Joe, please tell me I didn't just hear you correctly saying unsanctioned event.
Let's not go there.
Those sirens I'm hearing?
Uh-oh, looks like the North Carolina Hot Fuzz is at it again.
Ricky, are you serious? You didn't sanction this event!
Who needs paperwork?
Oh my God, you cannot be serious right now as the North Carolina Highway Patrol is in hot pursuit of our 2 contestants, Brandon Perna and Tom Grossi, as Tom Grossi is hanging on to the lead down the super stretch, heading into turn 4. Brandon Perna is trying his best to keep up with them as they shake off the Highway Patrol as Tom Grossi is going to take race 3.
I wouldn't say they've exactly shaken the Highway Patrol as they are still making their way back around to the starting grid as they are still in continuous pursuit.
You mean they're still going at it?
Talk about determination. These 2 are not going to give up until the 5 races are done.
And as they go off into race 4, Tom Grossi still with that commanding lead as Brandon Perna is almost overtaken by the Highway Patrol.
That's what I'm talking about. That Detroit muscle is leaving that Farfignuga mobile behind.
Tom Grossi in command of this race as he heads down the super stretch going into turn 4. Brandon Perna with a huge head of steam. He starts to close on him. He makes a pass as he goes across the line, and Brandon Perna is going to take race 4.
I tell you what, that bus is surprising everyone as he must have some rocket boosters inside of that thing.
I'd say he has some serious Bronco power pushing that Volkswagen bus as there you see Tom Grossi with a commanding lead, but once again he strikes the inside retaining wall as it slows him down a little bit as here you see Brandon Perna coming into the screen as they go down in the turn 4 with a huge head of steam. As they go down the final stretch, Brandon Perna goes to the inside to make the pass as they come down to the line. Brandon Perna just barely beats him out for that second win.
That win keeps Brandon Perna alive as we had some action down there in turn 3 as the North Carolina Highway Patrol had 2 vehicles spin out and they are now inoperable.
2 steep poopers down as we have 2 left to go, and it's time for the final race.
Down the backstretch for the final time, Perna with a slight advantage over Grossi. Going through the S-turns, Grossi starts to make some momentum heading down in the turn 2. He takes the lead through the chicane. They are neck and neck. Oh, they're bouncing all over the place.
Those troopers must be getting underneath their skin.
Oh, Perna hits the outside retaining wall hard as Grossi starts to pull away.
As they come down to the final stretch in that Ford GT500, it's going to be Tom Grossi taking race 5.
And what a show put on by both these drivers as they race each other and fight off the police at the same time.
And as he continues to try to shake the Highway Patrol, your winner of this event, representing the Diecast with Tom Grossi, it's Tom Grossi. Now where the heck did Brandon Perna go?
Funk, you probably don't want to know.
Oh, no, you cannot be serious. Ricky!
That's right. We would like to thank Brandon Perna with That's Good Sports for being a part of this event too, as it looks like we have a new driver moving our shine out to the great state of Colorado.
Oh, and when you look at that, it looks like Tom Grossi was able to shake the North Carolina Highway Patrol as they have seemed to crash out.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank Brandon Perna with That's Good Sports and Tom Grossi with the Diecast. Together, they put on the Grossi Perna Show, creating the best football commentary content on YouTube, both of them in search of their 1 million subscribers. So be sure to check them out as we post the links below.
The following announcement has been brought to you by the Cousin Ricky Order.
That's right, Cousin Ricky fans. You've been asking, and here they are. It's the all-new line of Cousin Ricky t-shirts straight from Merch by Meekin. And to go along with every single t-shirt sale, you also get the brand new CRO Cousin Ricky Order stickers. And speaking of Cousin Ricky Order shirts, they're available in multiple sizes, so be sure to go to merchbymeekin.com and order yours today. Oh, and just like how I've hijacked Funkhouser's channel, I've also hijacked the prices on his merchandise, as all shirts are now on sale for $19.99. So be sure to go to merchbymeekin.com on Facebook or call and order yours today when I still have control.
The preceding announcement has been brought to you by the Cousin Ricky Order.
Welcome back to the action, race fans, here at the Old Yadkin Valley Speedway as the drivers are gearing up and strapping in for the second half of tonight's card for the Midnight Club Tournament Round 2, sponsored by Merch by Meekin.
Team Muscle has shown up tonight in typical V8 dominating fashion as they have secured 2 of the last 4 spots available for the semifinals round.
There are 2 more spots left available for the semifinal round. The question is, who's going to claim them? Only one way to find out is it's time for Round 2, Group 4. Now enough talking, let's get down to these driver introductions. Starting us off for Team Muscle, he's driving a 1971 AMX Javelin. For Dubious Diecast Racing, it's Mr. Dog. Up next, leading them off for Team Tuner, he's driving the iconic 1994 Toyota Supra. Driving for Fastlane Racing, it's Victor Fastlane. Up next, if he's not all over the track, he's leading the pack. Driving his 2011 Dodge Charger SRT8. For Blue Line Racing, it's Champagne Pappy. You better be standing at attention and don't be eyeballing him as he's driving a 2001 Acura Integra GSR. For O'Neill Performance, it's Old Sarge.
Well, this is it, all you Cousin Ricky fans. It's the last group of round 2, and we only have 2 spots available left in the semifinal rounds. The question is, who's gonna fill them?
Well, there's only one way to find that out, Ricky, and it's about to go down as it's time for race 1, which is now underway.
Off the grid and down the backstretch they go, and look at that push that Mr. Dark is getting from Champagne Pappy.
Mr. Dark and Champagne Pappy are bump drafting early as they go down in the turn 2. Victor Fastlane and Champagne Pappy door to door as they head down into 3.
Champagne is all over Pappy's bumper as they head down the strip stretch. Going down into turn 4. Will Pappy be able to make the pass? No! Mr. Dark is able to hang on to it, and he takes race 1.
Once again, Team Muscle starting up strong as they take the spots 1 and 2 at the beginning of this series, with Mr. Dark taking race 1.
Now let's go back and watch that dominating performance from the Merch by Meekin replay camera. As here you see Champagne Pappy giving Mr. Dark one heck of a push down the S turns. Victor Fastlane, he starts pulling along Champagne Pappy as they go down the turn 2.
And watch this tight racing as they go out of the turn through the chicane. It's Victor Fastlane and Champagne Pappy. As they come out of the chicane, they are door to door, heading down into turn 3, all over each other. Unfortunately, Victor Fastlane has no choice but to fall back and fall in line as they head down the super stretch.
However, it seems that Victor gets a little bit loose as you see him slamming into the inside wall, losing a ton of momentum as he tries to regain it. Here comes Old Sarge down the turn 4. He's able to go up top and make a clean pass over the outside.
And that's one heck of a tough break for Victor Fastlane as he started off this event in the promising second place position, but ends up coming up in 4th.
Now as we update the leaderboard, there you see the crowd favorite, Mr. Dark, sitting on top of the board with 5 points, followed by Champagne Pappy with 4.
With 3 points in the 3rd place spot, it's Old Sarge. In 4th place with 2 points, it's Victor Fastlane, as we still have a lot of racing still left to go as it's time for race 2. Off the starting grid and down the backstretch, and look at that jump that Victor Fastlane got as he has just taken off from the other drivers.
Fastlane must have hit the nitrous early because he is just gone as Old Sarge is trying his best to keep up as he has Champagne Pappy right there on his tail.
Oh, Victor Fastlane loses it as he gets slammed by Old Sarge, but he's able to regain control as he comes down the final stretch. It's going to be Victor Fastlane taking the race 2, followed by Old Sarge. Then it's going to be Mr. Dark and then Champagne Pappy coming in 4.
And it looks like Team Tuner was able to get their revenge as they were able to come back and take positions 1 and 2.
Right, you are, Ricky. Now let's go back and check out the Merch by Meekin replay camera as there you see Champagne Pappy right on the tail of Old Sarge. But as they come out of the chicane, Champagne Pappy hits inside retaining wall.
Hold up, I got this next part. As you see Victor Fastlane loses control coming out of turn 3 as he gets slammed by Old Sarge. But in spectacular fashion, he's able to regain control of that car as he goes down into turn 4.
However, as they come out of turn 4, both he and Old Sarge slam the inside retaining wall as they overcorrected. Now it's a dogfight for position as Victor Fastlane is able to secure that 1st place spot.
Now let's go back and watch that dogfight from the overhead cam. And there you see Victor Fastlane and Old Sarge coming out of turn 4. They both slam into the inside retaining wall. As they come down the final stretch, here's see Mr. Dark trying one more time to get that 2nd place spot, but Old Sarge is able to hang on to it.
And it's a good thing Old Sarge was able to hang on to that spot as it narrows Mr. Dark's lead down to just 1 point as he sits on top of the board with 8. Now we have a tie for the 2nd place spot with 7 points between Victor Fastlane and Old Sarge. And Champagne Pappy is just behind them with 6 as it's time for race 3.
It's Dodge versus Acura as they head down the backstretch. Going into turn 1 as Old Sarge is able to hang on to it. But here comes Champagne Pappy, overpowering him through the S turns, down into turn 2.
That 6.1-liter Hemi engine has just taken off as Champagne Pappy is all alone, heading down the super stretch in blazing fashion as he comes down smoothly. He's going to take race 3.
Old Sarge comes in 2nd again, followed by Victor Fastlane, and then Mr. Dark's going to bring up the rear.
Now, how about that track time of 17.185 seconds put down by Champagne Pappy as we go back and watch the Merch by Meekin replay camera. There you see Champagne Pappy just pulling away from the competition as he opens up and flexes all of his 465 horses, just leaving the competition in his dust trails.
Now that's what I'm talking about when I say American Muscle just showing off in front of those tuners as they see Champagne Pappy all alone as he comes down the final stretch, and he's going to take the win.
At this point, all the rest of the competition can do is just hold their line and hang on to their spots as Champagne Pappy wins in dominating fashion.
Now as we update the leaderboard after race 3, talk about your close points as we have a tie for the 1st place spot between Champagne Pappy and Old Sarge, and we have a tie for the 2nd place spot between between Mr. Dark and Victor Fastlane.
And would you look at that, only 1 point separates all 4 drivers as it's time for the final race.
It's go big or go home as it's time to find out who's moving on to the semifinal round.
And how about that jump once again by Champagne Pappy as he is just gone already in turn 2 as the other drivers are trying their best to keep up with him.
Woo! Just look at him go! No mistakes whatsoever as he is just flying down the track.
I think we're going to have a sub-17 time as there you see Champagne Pappy coming across the line in first, followed by Mr. Dark. Then it's getting Old Sarge and Victor Fastlane bringing up the rear.
Woo! You weren't kidding! Take a look at that time! 16.618 seconds!
Champagne Pappy flew down the track as we check out this Merch by Megan replay camera. There you see him exiting turn 2 before the other drivers are even entering into it. As he goes through the chicane, he is smooth, not making a single mistake as he goes down into turn 3.
He could have easily let off the gas and just cruised down to the finish line, but he wanted to make a statement as he just kept the foot to the floor and he put down an amazing track time.
That he did, and at this point, the only thing the competition could do was fight for that second place spot, as there you see Champagne Pappy just dominating this race.
And that's going to do it for round 2, Group 4, as we have one heck of a surprise.
That we do, Ricky, as we check out the leaderboard for the final time for night, sitting in the 4th place spot with 12 points, it's Victor Fastlane. And the winner of this event and the first driver moving on to the semifinal rounds from this group, it's Champagne Pappy. But take a look at the 2nd place spot as we have a tie for that position between Mr. Dark and All Sarge, which means it's time for a Midnight Club Showdown.
That's right, and what better way to determine the last 2 drivers moving on to the semifinal rounds than the best 2 out of 3 showdown.
Mr. Dark with 1 win up on the board will get the advantage of the inside lane first, as it's time for the Midnight Club Showdown Race 1.
And off you go as Mr. Dark just hammers down and powers down into turn 1.
That 401 cubic V8 of that AMX Javelin is just showing its power as he takes off down into turn 3.
But also just right there on his tail as they head down the super stretch. Can he make the pass as he comes down to the final stretch?
He closed in, but Mr. Dark is able to hang on, and he's going to take race 1 with a time of 18.629 seconds.
Woo, that's 1 win by Team Muscle. The question is, will Old Sarge be able to answer back, or will it be a clean sweep by Mr. Dark?
If Mr. Dark wins 1 more, that's going to be a complete total clean sweep for Team Muscle, as they will have 4 drivers moving on. But the question is, will Mr. Dark be able to answer back, as it's time for Showdown Race 2. Off the starting grid and down the backstretch as Old Sarge has a 1 car length advantage over Mr. Dark. Can Mr. Dark catch up to him as he's starting to creep alongside of him, heading down the turn 2. They takes lead as they go through the chicane. They're door to door, heading down the turn 3.
Now it looks like Old Sarge is able to hang on to it as Mr. Dark slams into the outside retaining wall, exiting turn 3. Looks like Old Sarge is going to take race 2.
Old Sarge puts in a track time of 19.267 seconds, which means of the 2 races, Mr. Dark had the faster track time, which means he will get the inside lane advantage, moving on to the final race.
All right, race fans, this is what you all been waiting for. It's time to determine who will be the next driver moving on to the semifinal rounds, and it all comes down to this last race.
Who's it going to be, Mr. Dark or Old Sarge, as it comes down to race 3?
Off they go, one last time heading down to turn 1.
Mr. Dark comes out of turn 1 with a 1 car length advantage over Old Sarge. But here comes Old Sarge pulling alongside of him, and in turn 2, they are door to door coming out of the chicane. No! And it looks like Mr. Dark just slammed Old Sarge into the outside retaining wall of turn 3. And it looks like he's going to come down to the line, and he's going to take the final win. And that's 4 drivers from Team Muscle moving on to the semi-final round.
Now that is the type of racing I am talking about, and what a comeback for Team Muscle, taking all 4 of the last positions, moving on to the semi-final round.
Right you are, Ricky. Just when it looked like Team Tuner was going to bully Team Muscle strikes back, and they struck back with vengeance.
And here they are, ladies and gentlemen, your drivers moving on to the semi-final round.
Representing Team Muscle, it's Giorgio, James Ironbeard, Champagne Pappy, Mr. Variant, and Mr. Dark. Representing Team Tuner, it's going to be Iceman, Lone Star, and 2K. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your drivers moving on to the semi-final round. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all being a part of the racing action today. We hope you loved it, and if you didn't, we appreciate you hanging out with us this long. As always, if you liked the content, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to share, and don't forget to comment, as always, as we bring you more exciting racing action here from the Old Yadkin Valley Speedway, home to the Winston-Salem Racing Series and the Funkhouser Diecast Racing League.
As always, we can't forget our amazing sponsor who provides all the great signage you see around the track, Merch by Meekin. Merch by Meekin is your headquarters for all your custom metal diecast signs and much more. And don't forget about their personal gift ideas too. Merch by Meekin. Gotta love those signs.
Well, that's going to do it for us here, ladies and gentlemen, for round 2. Be sure to join us back next time as we kick off the semi-final round.
This has been a presentation of the Funkhouser Diecast Racing League.